Is it good? Okay. Got it. Foot on my face. Sorry, just finished eating. Hey y'all, Andy here. I was just finishing grabbing some food. Some good old California In-N-Out. And I was having some thoughts and ideas I thought I'd share with you guys. So it's going to be the next installment in the Flow series is this idea. I want to talk about vibrations, the whole law of attraction thing, and frequencies, and how that all relates to flow. Shouldn't take so much, about 5 minutes. Because this will help you self-actualize the new year and live your best life and manifest your best self. When it comes to vibrations and energy, as we know, all waves are basically, a wave is basically energy that travels through a medium. So like a wave in the water, as you can see, is a little the usual wave idea we think about as it ripples before it crashes. We talked about previously waves in terms of waves of adaptation for like a new product or a new app or like the whole new AI thing. So a lot of people are slowly adapting, and there's a wave of that's occurring over time if you put it over a population distribution of who's using it over time. But there's another lower wave I want to talk about, which is in terms of information and the transition between analog and digital, which we all kind of know about. Analog being like if you have a regular guitar and you're strumming it, or if you're navigating a sailboat and you're mechanically changing it. Those are called analogs. Basically, there's a smooth distribution of that energy wave patterns for whatever motion that it is. It's just simple and continuous. However, the digital realm is the ones and zeros, which is basically to say that those peaks and those troughs have been standardized above and below a certain voltage. So if you're up and down, let's say your wave up voltage is like, I don't know what, 3 amps or 3 volts or whatever, and then 0 or no amps or negative 3 volts is a 0. So now you have your binary, the ones and zeros, and those binaries change the signal from this to this, and from there, that's how you get basically Morse code, and computers and those ones and zeros form bytes, and the bytes form megabytes and kilobytes and gigabytes and terabytes and all that other stuff. And what you're basically doing though is you're encoding information, because the same way as you are looking at the screen, you see the color on my shirt, which is blue, and the color on my shirt, which is red. These are different wavelengths. So we can talk about those waves from the sun hitting my shirt, being captured by the camera, and then you're watching it. But the light that's coming here when I'm recording this is analog. It's a very continuous wave of light. But the camera in my computer is digitizing that information into those ones and zeros. So those ones and zeros, those clearly megabytes, it's information. And same thing goes with my voice. It's being encoded. It's pretty raspy today. I don't know why I'm drinking soda. I woke up, I just feel like my tonsils are on fire, but we're gonna get through it. What I was trying to say is, but you're also listening to my voice and the tone of my voice, and the hills, the troughs, and the variation of it is what helps you recognize the voice as me as you hear it in your through your speakers or your headphones. Now, when we are operating in the world and we're trying to operate in flow, it's generally a two-way street. We are both broadcasting and receiving information. The same way I am receiving information from input from my surrounding environment on a continuous basis, because nature is always in flow, nature is always doing its thing. I am aware of my surroundings. It's a beautiful day. There's plenty of sunshine around, as you guys can see. It's, I got a little fun stuff in my nose. It's a really great day. Now, at the same time, that information is being captured by the camera and being broadcast to you. So now you're receiving the input of today's information. But you at home are also broadcasting information to your environment. If someone's sitting around you or next to you, or if you're on the bus or on a plane and you're watching this, you're then broadcasting your presence, because you're not invisible, to everyone around you. Now, that's generally in the physical world. Now, but clearly you're able to find this video and click it for a reason. Because again, the screen that you were on was able to transmit the vibrations of the thumbnail or some type of notification to you through the ones and zeros, notifying you that, hey, Hendy's on, or Hendy uploaded a new video, or hey, Hendy made this video and he posted online with this product, with this title. So I'm broadcasting, in a sense, virtually. That is, I'm recording this information, this packet of information, the ones and zeros and megabytes. I don't know how long, most of my videos are like half a gig, and storing that packet of information on YouTube servers. Now, YouTube is going to be my new antenna, my digital antenna, broadcasting it through the radio wave signals, whatever, to your cell phones and your computers, where you're able to listen and receive the information. But I also have other notes and signals I'm broadcasting on different platforms, because clearly that's how social media works. You can be on a platform and it'll broadcast you. Either it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. That's it. But I'm broadcasting those waves and frequencies. Now, when it comes to the whole law of attraction, this is where it really converges, because many times when I was first starting out, I read, The Secret and The Alchemist, and I was like, what is all this nonsense? It was very woo-ha spirit of this thing and ancient peoples, and yeah, it was very strange. But after my experience, the simplest way I can describe it is this, and because this is actually a very good example here with this video on YouTube. Whenever you want something, your brain, your subconscious, adjust its filter to focus on that thing. And so you scan your surroundings for the thing that you're of interest of. Either you're trying to approach, or something you're trying to get away from. So if you're in the woods and there's a bear, your brain is going to be hypersensitive to the sound of bears. But if you're looking to buy a new car and you went to the dealership and you test drove it and you're really thinking about liking that car, I can't remember the name of the effect, but you're going to see that car everywhere you go. So your brain automatically filters this, your environment, because nothing really changed in your environment, but your eye and your brain is adjusting the filter of what's coming in and what it's focusing on. And remember, flow is all about focus. So if someone is broadcasting information onto into the environment, both digital and the physical world, those signals are always there. But the question is it of interest to you? That is to say, is your brain even filtering out to know what to look for at that moment in time? And that's where the alignment comes into play, is of being having the same frequency, because what your brain is basically doing is that all the signals and vibrations that are coming in from the grass, the trees, because maybe for whatever reason you really like this button, and this button has been here the entire video, but now that I'm focusing on it, your attention is on it as well. So now your filter is on this. Same situation on if someone said, don't think of a pink elephant. There might not be even a pink elephant in your environment, but you're going to think it in your brain. And if there is a pink elephant in your environment, you're going to find it. I dare you now to look at your environment and find a pink elephant. And if you do find a pink elephant, leave it in the comment description below, because that'd be kind of cool. But this is what I'm saying. laws of attraction and the whole vibration thing is really being able to adjust your mental filter so that to help your brain yourself focus in the environment while you're in flow. This is why it's so important to be intentional and to be clear on what you're looking for and what you're not looking for, and setting your specifications for your life, your career goals, your family goals, your health and fitness goals, because the more specific you are with that filter, the more efficient your brain and your eyes can be in scanning the environment for the solutions that you're looking for. And that's basically it. So I know The Alchemist that we're talking about, well, I think one of the key stories in The Alchemist when I first read it was the story about the guy when he decided to leave his homeland. He was going to go, but he didn't have any money for the boat ride from Spain to Africa. But he figured out that he could sell the sheep that he had to move forward. But he realized if he left the sheep, if he sold the sheep, he'd never be with the sheep again. But he realized, well, I'm just one shepherd in the litany of shepherds. Someone else will figure it out. And by coincidence, he was able to find somebody to buy the sheep. He sold the sheep and got his ticket to cross. But the entire time before that, he didn't know how to get the money, which is what he was seeking to do. So he had that asset, that value reservoir there, but in his mind, it wasn't filtering to know that that's what he was looking for. And again, along the path, I don't want to give the book away, along the path of The Alchemist, it's basically a matter of learning how to adjust your filter, and we follow the character protagonist as different situations help him adjust his filter. Even another great situation is examples when he's helping the shopkeeper, and at the top of the hill, who shopkeepers at the top of the hill, but they usually put they were putting the sign at the bottom of the hill about the shop. Well, he decided to put it at the top of the hill because at that point he understands that the people, as they go up the hill, their mental filter is going to be focused on food and snacks because they're tired because they were just going up this hill. And that's, again, goes back to the law of vibrations and being able to, it can go both ways. If you're looking to market, you have to be along the same wavelength and know where your customers' eyes are going to be focused, and so you can place your product there for them to be able to see in those wavelengths to get to them, both in the physical world if you're putting up a billboard, or digitally if you're doing Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, all this other stuff. And on the other hand, it's again making sure that you're programming yourself to be intentional so that you can filter out what you so you can filter out the information you do need from your environment so you can stay in flow and you're not going on crazy rabbit holes. So what I want to mention is this applies to commercial as well as, the other thing I want to mention is that this applies to commercial situations as well as personal and romantic situations. If you think back to the reasons why when you first met your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or when you met your best friend, you guys were probably in a place, then you were in the same frequency. So if you met at a museum, you probably both were have this part about you where you both either were interested in art for whatever reason. You both were there. If you went to a Lakers game or a Bulls game, you were on, or even the same school or college, you were on the same wavelength, and something in you brought you to that environment, and that other person, something in them also brought them to that environment too. And from however circumstances happened in the universe, you two met, you clicked, and life was wonderful since that's your boo. This kind of connects to something else I've always been wondering about. What brings two people together, and why do certain people click and some people don't? And I think it was a School of Life that was talking about one of the crazy key aspects of people who we're friends with is that we usually admire a part of them, of their personality. So basically, like that we would want in ourselves, and that we're able to lean on them. There was some research done a while ago that they found that a group of people are more bound and more likely to bond together and form and experience, what is it called, like group cohesion. Basically, like they become teammates when they're all facing a common enemy, which is new information. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. But this doesn't apply just in war, but this also applies in like classes, if on a basketball team. What was it? Even that section about, I think that movie, Spider-Man, when he was on the bridge and Goblin was chasing him, and that guy from New York was like, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. And it's basically that. On some level, you are all connected and attracted to each other and admire each other. So if you admire the Patriots because you consider them winners and that bravado or whatever it is that you really love about them, then the person you are going to meet in those arenas are going to have the same value system internally. And so that's also another reason why I believe it's also really great to be intentional about who you are, where you're going, because then you're able to be more intentional in providing clearly understanding how your relationships are being built and why. And if you understand the why and the situation, then you're able to get a better focus as to where that relationship is going to go. But again, that all comes back to law of attraction, which is, why are you there in the first place? Why are you interested in the person? Why is the person interested in you? And how would you both be able to create the most amount of value for each other within your time together? Waves of attraction and laws of attraction and vibrations with feelings and how they also affect romantic relationships like dating in two parts. One, in terms of feelings, as we all know, like heat energy is like kinetic radiation or electromagnetic radiation, which is basically how when something is like emitting heat, and that has a frequency as well, versus like black body radiation where there is no light, but it is releasing off heat. So if something has a high frequency, we can also feel it, not just like kinetically with heat, but also in sound. So like there are certain songs, or there are many songs actually, I should say, all the songs that you love, that when the vibrations hit your eardrum, they stimulate your eardrum in a fashion that effectively is releasing dopamine into your brain because you're enjoying the experience. So now you have a situation where you're able to encode information into a frequency, and that frequency is now triggering the release of dopamine into someone's brain. But this is also twofold. We can release dopamine, we can also release cortisol. And this is both audio, but also visually. Like if you're watching a scary movie, it's not real. It's basically a hologram. But as those vibrations of photons hit your eyeballs and as you're a kid, you have that suspension of disbelief and you're immersed in the situation. And when the boogeyman jumps out the bushes, you jump like, ah. The other side I want to talk about is this with dating, because I know I've heard a lot of women talk about one thing they admire in a guy is consistency, and consistency is another term for frequency. So in terms of how frequently are you doing the things you say you are going to do, which is also a matter of alignment. So I would almost say that women seek a person who's in flow, because now that person's consistent and doing what they're also in alignment with they're planning. Sorry, they're doing what they say they're going to do, because it provides a sense of security. That consistency provides a sense of security, which women love, which is like the number one thing women value in their. So that's also another way that all ties together with vibrations, frequency, and flow. This is as I said before, this is how I see the connection between waves, flow, frequency, vibrations, and the law of attraction. If you found this video helpful or informative or helped you get a better sense of what it means to be in flow and self-development and personal development, click the subscribe button below and the bell for the notification bell. And we'd love to have you join the channel. I think I'm up to about 17 subscribers at the time of this video being recorded, and we'd love to have more people on here to give us a feedback. What do you guys want me to talk about? What don't you guys want me to talk about? I love, as everyone knows, I love to read, so I'm always doing research on stuff like this and neuroscience and trying to put together a theory that's cogently understandable for everyone and how it applies to me. And so, yeah, let me know in the comment section. Well, okay, guys, take care. Have a good one. Andy out.